Hi, my name is Ana Ceppi, and I'm the host of The Breakthrough, a show that captures a single, awe-inspiring moment in business, a moment that ignites a change. Our quest is to go beyond the situation and the outcome and understand the moment when that breakthrough spark happened. This is The Breakthrough, portraits of business changemakers. Welcome to The Breakthrough. My guest today is Perky Noah Effik, co-founder of Black and Brilliant, a diverse talent NGO, which ensures diverse talent has the tools needed to succeed in the world of corporate and are seen by hiring managers. In today's program, we're going to get to know Perky's personal journey, her professional endeavors, and her deliberate business breakthrough and how those two intersect. Bienvenida, Perky, to The Breakthrough.
Thank you for having me.
First, let's talk a little bit about Black and Brilliant and why it came to be.
I'm sure you've heard our story, but for people out there who haven't, my husband and I watched what happened with George Floyd, and we were affected. We have 3 young children, and we wanted to do something, and we wanted to show them the power of charting your own path. So we stuck to things that we knew well. We stuck to things that we as adults and as young teens had kind of struggled with. My husband works in tech. I've worked in design and creative. So we felt it was the right idea to merge those and try and help people kind of upskill into a new opportunity. We know that tech, prior to AI, we've been talking about AI for at least 2 years now. And we knew that that was a curb in for a lot of Black and brown people. And we felt we could help. And that's what we decided to do.
And so to me, the amazing thing that you put forward is this filling that gap that people kept saying, we can't find Black talent for corporate America.
Right.
And you not only congregated them, but you gave them a place where they can really upskill themselves.
Yeah.
Can you talk about what the technology environment looks like for them?
I think we had so many people reach out to us. We had a lot of graduates and people who study engineering, mechanical engineering, because their uncle or their dad or someone in their family has done that, has taken that career path, but they didn't really know how to switch lanes. They weren't aware that doing that particular degree was, it was a lot of money, like all degrees, but you don't necessarily earn a lot of money. It's one of the lowest earning degrees in engineering. So why not switch over to data science or IT? And that's what we tried to do. So we had a lot of near-ready people or people who were in different technology environments, and we kind of helped them to move and navigate through a new path.
I love that, because again, if you don't know where the point of arrival is and how you can really maximize those transferable skills, even if people can find you, you can't find the right roadmap to get you to where you need to get to. Talk to me about, so you had a specific breakthrough because you were filling a gap that was needed in the marketplace and no one could identify the talent. And then you had a significant breakthrough and a catalyst moment when that technology really, you shared with other people where that technology could lead for them from a career. Tell me some of the stories that you've heard from people who are part of your program.
So we initially did a program with Code Academy. They are a kind of online digital self-help organization. My husband met one of the owners. They were both speaking at the UN, and they really wanted to do something with Tony. And so we thought that was a great partnership, and again, we tend to be very authentic with our partnerships. It has to be something that works for us. So Code Academy and Black and Brilliant was a perfect match. And what they did was provide the hard skills for us. So going through their platform, we talked with a lot of their program directors in regards to how to help the candidates and the cohorts that we had. And what we tried to do through our network and our friends was to help people with the hard skills, but also with the soft skills, because what we see in, unfortunately, Black and brown communities, that you don't have that extended, paycheck. And so there isn't the soft skills and just helping you with interviews, helping you prep for things. You see this in school level as well, so all of those little things that you wouldn't pick up, and we didn't pick up as kids as young adults. We just want to kind of help people with that, because it makes a big difference. The hard skills will get you hired, the soft skills will get you fired. So
I love that. The hard skills will get you hired, the soft skills will get you fired. And I also think that the soft skills can get you accelerated growth, right? So having that soft skill really allows you to break through in your career from just the middle management and can come forward.
Right.
I love that. Tell me about the plans that you guys have for Black and Brilliant go forward.
Initially, we were doing a lot. It's my husband and myself, and we have a network of, friends and allies, and it was a lot. We have 3 kids, and my priority...
This is your side hustle.
Yes, this is my side hustle. My priority has always been my family and my kids. So for us, it was it was perfect timing because it was during COVID as well. So that helped a lot. But going forward, what we tend to do now is we focus on smaller groups, smaller organizations that really align with our core values and what we believe we should be doing. And so we are working with RAND again. We worked with them a couple of months ago, and for those who don't know, RAND is this huge corporation, and they came to us. They wanted us to help with their Black employee network, and so we're working with them. We can't go into too much detail, but there are issues wherever, and I think what I always like is there is no perfect answer. There is no kind of perfect formula to everything. I think it's having an openness and a willingness to work with people who can help your organization thrive. And also what you tend to find, and what we found when we work with different organizations, is people go in thinking they know everything. Oh, I know that. I know the reason why people aren't doing this. I know that. And you're like, let's see after we finish. And the feedback is always, oh, I didn't know that. I thought it was because of this, but actually it's because of that. And, because we're all different and every environment is different. So I don't like this one set will fit all, because that's not the case.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think particularly as corporate continues to evolve and the technology continues to evolve, that cultural elasticity, which is really what you're talking about, is a necessary soft skill for those who are coming in, as much as a recognition for those who are leading that champion, right? That charge. Yeah. So I think that's really smart. So if you partner with a big brand to bring those Black and Brilliant employees forward and do transferable skills, and you get them the soft skills, and you really get to understand what their motivations are and what their inflection points are, how can you do that for everybody is the question.
I think, again, it's about a willingness. I have... I'm sure he's going to be very embarrassed if I say this, but I have a really brilliant husband.
You do.
And he is, really inspiring. So if I think of his journey and I think of my own journey, and it always makes me really sad to think that there is a little boy exactly like him out there who just doesn't have access really opportunity, and there's a little girl like me who just doesn't have access. That makes me really sad. And so I think it's just about an openness. I think we're in a time where people aren't open to other people, and I think that's sad. We have more in common than we have not. So I would say an openness, and that is really what you need.
I love that. I do think that we are at a point in time where listening is undervalued, and listening and learning and being curious has always been super valued.
Yeah.
And again, I love that your organization took an inflection point where all of us were trying to figure out how could we help, and you put that emotion and that feeling into impact and actions and congregated people. So this lovely and important work in terms of an inflection point and a catalyst that needed to happen. Yeah. So we're going to take a short break. We're going to come back and talk about you, and talk about your journey and how that stimulated where you are in terms of business. We'll be right back. Hi, we're back, and we're talking to one of the co-founders of Black and Brilliant, a tremendous organization that really the inception point was right after the murder of George Floyd, and really congregated and aggregated Black corporate citizens to upskill them from soft skills as well as hard skills. So with every entrepreneur, every person that does something completely new, we usually go back to their story, their personal story, to see where that moment happened that really informed where you ended up creating a net new. So Perky, tell us a little bit about your journey.
Well, I'm going to go right to the beginning. I was born in Cameroon. And for those who don't know Cameroon, Cameroon is in West Africa. I was born in the capital, Yaoundé. And Cameroon was colonized by the French, the English, and the German. So Cameroon is 80% speaking, French-speaking francophone, and 20% English-phone, anglophone. My mum is English-speaking, and my dad was French-speaking. She trained and worked as a primary school teacher when we were in Cameroon, and my father worked for the diplomatic service. We moved to London when I was young, but unfortunately, soon after we moved, my father passed away, and that was a very traumatic time in our life. But you know, went to school in London, in southwest London, and I think, you know, it was just having all of those different cultures from Cameroon, you know, and then also there's the local dialect. So both my parents didn't speak the same dialect. So I've always had this kind of, you know, being able to see many cultures all at once, or experience. I think they call it third cultured child. So I'm definitely embedded in that, and that's kind of who I am as a person. And
so your parents and you moved to London, and then from London you went to school there. Yeah. How was that experience?
School was really difficult. You know, I came in, I didn't speak a lot of English, and it's hard to believe that I mostly spoke French at the time. So it was just, I was this odd child trying to get to know the system. Then I had obviously this big kind of trauma happen with my dad passing away. And we were kind of in survival mode for a long time. We went from having a lot, not to having literally anything. So that preoccupied my mind a lot, I would have to say, and be honest about it, because I was the youngest at the time. So that really impacted me. And so I just spent a lot of time in my head.
And how did you find a cultural ally while you were in London? And then I want to quickly pivot to how is that experience, and how does that experience, I know you moved to the US, what cultural energy brought you together with someone, I would assume, besides Tony? Yeah. Someone that really helped you with that cultural navigation?
I think my primary school was really difficult because it just was.
It's for everybody.
Yeah. And then secondary school was kind of where I came into my own. I would say met my best friend, actually two very good friends, Veronica and Claire. Veronica is, she looks Italian, but she's, half Japanese, half English, half Yugoslav. And so we bonded because we were a little bit outside. We were the outsiders. She looked different from the average English girl, and I certainly looked different. So we bonded. And then I had a very close friend who was English, Claire, who was super nice. And they're still my best friends to this day.
That's amazing. And so you went to school in London, and what brought you to the US?
We had the recession happened, and I think that affected a lot of people. It affected a lot of our friends. So we saw a lot of our friends kind of move for opportunity, Dubai, all around the world. Yeah. And so Tony had an offer prior to the recession to move to America. But I just had a baby. I had our first baby, and my mum was close by, my siblings are close by, and I was like, I'm not moving. You can go, I'm staying. And then he had another offer, and my mum, rightfully so, was like, I think you should go. You missed out on the second one. But by this time I'd had a second baby, and I was like, yeah, why not? 2 kids, we can do it. And we just moved, and we were in the frame of mind of trying something new. I think in terms of both of us, Britain and England is very small. So regardless of how brilliant you are, it's a very small, community. And so it's hard to really break through in the UK, regardless of ethnicity. And so we just felt like we needed a change. And it was only supposed to be for like 2 years, have a little break. And this is now our 13th year.
And then you come to the US and you co-found a business or an NGO when there's only 10% of Black leaders founding these kinds of enterprises, NGO or for-profit. How does it feel to be part of that 10% that represents the rest of the community?
I think it's very interesting, especially when you put it like that. I think the truth about it is because of the nature of the work we do with Black and Brilliant, it's a little bit different and separate. And what we try to do is represent our community, our network. But we face the same challenges, not having opportunity, not being supported, being overlooked, microaggressions. But the bulk of the story comes from our community and our network. And I think the people who we work with, in terms of the people who want to be with us or do better or help. So we don't really see that in our work in comparison to the service and our network. And
so let's talk about like projection. What do you feel in 5 years your and Tony's contribution is to that corporate environment?
It's a hard one because we didn't start off thinking we were going to set this up. So I think I'm not someone who likes to kind of project too far in the future. I think what will be will be. As long as you put out good vibes and hopefully they come back, and sometimes they're just there to be put out. I think our contribution is upskilling. I think upskilling, paying it forward, that's something that's really important to us. If you open the door, if someone opens the door for you, hold the door for someone else. Or if someone didn't open the door for you and it was slammed in your face, still open the door for someone else. So paying it forward is something that we deeply believe in, and we hope that is something that becomes the legacy of Black and Brilliant.
I love that. I also think that just in congregating people who are in the same place at the same time with the same emotional territory, who share a business objective and share a business goal, ends up bringing scale to that right sizing, upsizing, and soft skill sizing, which you were talking about. So that's really amazing. Okay, so just for fun, because I like to do cultural inflection points, we're going to come right back and we're going to have a couple of rapid fire questions to add context to Perky and her vision of the world. Thank you for joining us again. We are deep in dialogue with Perky, co-founder of Black and Brilliant. We have spoken about Black corporate talent pipeline, its inherent power, how equity and support is critical part of that corporate journey, and how that needs to be folded into that corporate America to accurately represent the consumer and democratize that corporate ecosystem. And again, my heart goes out to the work you're doing. We now turn to this intersection of business as a creator, innovator, and culture. This is my most favorite part. So we can have a wider lens on cultural accelerators. So now we're going to a rapid fire questions for our guest. Hopefully, Perky can answer in one word, phrase, or something similar to that. And so here we go. What book, movie, or show are you watching now?
I just started reading Alan the Bottom, State of Anxiety. So that's the book I'm reading right now. Show, I'm watching The Witcher. Not so good. It's like episode 3 or series 3. A bit crap, but still watching it.
Okay. What's your favorite word?
Hope.
Hope. I love that one. What is your loved one's favorite word?
Freedom.
Freedom. Where do you feel most inspired?
I would say at home, but also on vacation.
On vacation.
Travel is...
It's a good inflection point?
Definitely.
What is the most interesting conversation you have had besides today?
Besides today, I would say my mum, because she is a wealth of knowledge. She's had like several career changes, and she just recently retired as a social worker. So she is an amazing woman. So I love talking to her.
Exciting. What is the role of corporations?
I think is framework. I think of framework when I think of corporation. Having the right framework, working with different groups to make sure that your corporation, organization is doing the right thing for the masses.
So what's the role of individuals?
I think the role of individual is to support society, is to support everybody. And it's not just to look out for yourself. You know, it's not like, let me grab 10 and that person's got 1. That's not what it's about.
So what is success?
Success to me is, I know it varies for different people, but family is really important to me. So a Sunday roast with my family, that is success to me.
How do you measure failure?
I think it's, you know, you could take a good way or a bad way. The good way to look at failure is, you know, you need to have failure in order to grow, and growth is really important for everybody. And failure teaches you that. And sometimes you also don't want to constantly, it's, you know, if you're winning all the time, you need to have, it's a balance. It's kind of the world teaching you that you can't win all the time. That's what failure is, and it's for growth.
And an opportunity.
Yes, definitely opportunity, yeah.
Okay. When is the right time to stay the course?
It's really difficult. I'm probably not the best person to ask this question. My husband would be great at this answer because he is one determined human being. And so I look to him. But staying the course, I think this is what I say to my children is, if you have a passion and you want to do it, it doesn't happen overnight. So stay the course, because at the end of it, you'll be happy. It's not going to be great. It's not all, you know, it's not going to look like a Disney movie. And I think that's probably one of the things that we suffer from. Everything has to be perfect. It doesn't. Actually, the imperfections of life are sometimes the most beautiful things.
I agree with that. I love that. What's the last opportunity to innovate?
I don't think there's always, as long as, you know, they're human beings and people are thinking and seeing a gap in the market or seeing a need for something, I think there's always going to be innovation. And obviously, depending on where you are as an individual, then it's going to vary from design to technology to creative. So it depends what you're interested in.
When should we break through? So you did an amazing breakthrough at a point where everyone was leaning in. When should all of us, or when is the right time to do a breakthrough?
I mean, there's no perfect time. Every time is a great time.
Anytime.
Anytime
I love that.
is a great time to break
And
through.
room for innovation also?
Yes, for sure. Anytime.
Why are some more ingenious than others? And so, you know, as a mom of 3, you probably can say one of my kids is more ingenious than the other. So why do you think that is?
I honestly don't know. I think prior to having children and being younger, I would say, you know, it's environment, it's this. But I think some of it, and this is not also for everyone, I think it's to do with, you know, who you are. And sometimes you just have it, and sometimes you learn it or you don't have it, and so I think it's depending on the person, it could be a whole bunch of things.
I love that. What's your least favorite word?
I mean, there are quite a few that I can think of. I would say hate is one of the words that I think people use a lot, and it takes a lot for me to hate someone. I can not like someone, and you know, but I think hate is a word that is used too frequently, and I think that comes from a lack of understanding and kind of wanting to stay at the fence and being ignorant. So I think hate is a word that I don't like.
Deep, deep, deep. I love it. What is the word or sentiment we will all embrace in the future?
Oh, this is a hard one. I mean, right now, like I said, we talked about AI 2 years ago, and we knew it was coming, and now it's here, so everyone's talking about AI. And I think, you know, society changes in kind of every 10 years. So right now, I don't know what that will be, but I think maybe in about 4 or 5 years from here, I think I'll know exactly what that is, because it kind of moves in ups and downs. So I think it's going to be, there's going to be something, but I just don't know what that is right now.
So the question is, will we embrace or not embrace AI in the future, is what you're saying, that we don't know enough currently?
We don't know enough currently, but I think it's important to put frameworks around AI and how it affects children, education, everything. And so we should be cautious about it, but there's so many upsides to it in terms of, you know, research, medical research. So I think, yes, we should embrace it. But I think, again, the word framework for me is really important, and having the right people do it and having a cross-section of society being involved in that framework is always important in anything. So if it's just a select group of people, we're going to have problems later down the line.
So just to wrap it up, what could we all do without?
I mean, it's funny, technology is great, but I think this is from a mum's point of view. We could do without social media right now. I think I don't read as much as I used to. Our whole family doesn't read. Actually, minus my little one, who's an avid reader, but we don't read as much as we used to. We don't play, you know, games, and there isn't that connectivity that you would have normally in a coffee shop. You come in and you'd have a little chat with someone. Now everyone's on their phones, and it's like, it's kind of disheartening sometimes.
So social media as an interrupter is what we could do without.
Yeah, we could do a little bit of it, you know, not completely, because sometimes it's good to scroll, but a little bit.
Thank you so much for your energy, your innovation, and setting a new way to deliver purposeful profits. It's been a pleasure to share the space with you and with you. My name is Ana Ceppi. And this is the breakthrough.